Everyone, it is Cole with CV Fishing, and we're back again for another episode of Bassin 101. We have a little bit of a special episode for you today. Today, we're going to be talking about tournament fishing. If you're new to the tournament world, you want to get into tournament fishing, and you're not sure how it all works, I have 5 tips for you guys on competitive bass fishing.
Ooh, there's a fish. There's a fish. That's a really good one.
If you're new to the fishing world and you've never fished a tournament, odds are you're going to be a co-angler. What does that mean? It just means you're the dude on the boat who doesn't own the boat. So most tournaments you're going to fish in are usually probably 2 people on the boat. So you'll have a boater. In college, you're going to be paired up with your teammates. If you get into open tournaments, you might just be paired up with someone else who has a boat looking for a co-angler. But regardless, it's important to know that you're the guest on the boat. When we're kind of looking at how competitive bass fishing works, most tournaments usually work on a 5-fish bag. So what that means is, so you and your partner are going to try and catch 5 of the biggest bass you can in the day. And when you're done fishing, you're going to take those 5 fish and go weigh them in, and whoever has the heaviest bag of 5 fish is the winner. And that's kind of how the placing works. So I'm going to talk to you guys about what I like to do to get prepared and go out there and go chase after a big bag of 5 fish. Number one of the most important things that is heavily overlooked throughout tournament fishing is your research and what you do leading up to the tournament. So when I mean research your water, so just Google the lake, right? It might be a big lake, it might be a small lake. Google the water, right? Just get a look for how the lake looks. If you have experience kind of looking at maps and knowing where fish are, make mental notes. But it's important just to know what the body of water is that you're fishing. Talk to your boater. See if your boater has fished there before. If your boater's fished there before, get some intel from them. What kind of baits were they using? What time of year was it? Stuff like that. Just talk to your boater and see if they fished the water before. See if any of your friends have fished the water before. Talking to people is such a good way to find out about these waters. You can go online, and there's so many things like FishBrain. FishBrain is a great app where you can actually just look at water, fish that have been caught in that water. So that's another great resource. So just really talk to anyone you can that might have knowledge on the lake, on the fish, or baits. Another great resource to look up is if the lake publishes a fishing report, look up the fishing report. You know, a lot of lakes do a really good job publishing weekly fishing reports on what guys were catching fish on, the water temperatures, really just the conditions of the lake overall. That's all stuff that's awesome to know. Number 2, my second tip that I have for you guys going into a tournament. So you've done your research, you kind of know maybe a little bit about the lake, you know the conditions of the water a little, you know it might be stagnant, it might be a little colder, that's all great. So now you need to know the plan, right? Your boater will probably have fished tournaments before and have a solid plan of attack on how they like to fish tournaments. And you being the co-angler, a lot of the times, you gotta just be good with their plan of attack. But if this is, you know, maybe a body of water that neither of you have fished before, talk to each other and come up with a plan. So say you guys are looking at maps, you see one point you really like, see another point you really like, and you just have all these spots. So you get out there, and a lot of times, and this is it, they have practice days for tournaments. You can get out on the water 1 or 2 days before the tournament and kind of find some spots. So again, talk to your boater, right? You know, it's crucial during these pre-fish days and these practice days to come up with a plan. And so that's why I really highly recommend utilizing these pre-fish days. You know, try throwing a bunch of baits, see what catches fish. Do the big ones want something else? Or you know, it's just look for those patterns. I always talk about looking for patterns. And so that's what you're doing on these pre-fish days is you're going out, you're throwing baits, you're trying to find the pattern fish in that lake or the area that you're in. And so once you kind of start finding these patterns, you and your boater will start putting together a plan, right? You're catching fish in one point on maybe a swim jig, right? So you'll set up a plan. First thing in the morning, we're going here, we're throwing the swim jig, right? And then you might just travel around the lake to your other spots you caught fish at. But have that plan. That is so important, is to not be on the water on the tournament, sitting there trying to rush to come up with something, maybe go try it and fish stuff you haven't fished before, and you're kind of just scrambling around for fish, and it's not a good time. If you have a plan that you can stick to, I recommend that until it comes down to crunch time, and then maybe go out and just let loose on whatever water you think might have a fish. All right, third tip for you guys is going to be have your gear prepared beforehand. And I cannot stress enough how much being organized and having your stuff packed neatly and having everything put together beforehand helps the process so much. And let me show you guys a couple examples of what I mean. So I have size tackle box, right? We have, our generic big boxes, and then we have our little box. As a co-angler, if I have the opportunity to pack my baits into these smaller boxes rather than bring a bigger box with me, I am absolutely gonna do that. It saves room in my bag. I don't take up as much space on the boat. I'm not scrambling through as many boxes, but just pack light. If I have a tournament, I'm planning on bringing 5 boxes, and say I could maybe effectively organize them into 2 of these, I might do it. But you don't want to be the person in tournaments that has 8 tackle boxes with each individual bait in their own slot. That just is unnecessary space. It's unnecessary time for you to pack all of that. So before you get on a boat, go to your shop, go through and find the baits that you're going to want to bring with you and organize them. So, I obviously have top waters in one box. I have my terminal box. That's always a go-to. I combine boxes to fit in these smaller ones. So in this, I have my jigs and my jerk baits that I'm gonna throw in here. So I combine 2 boxes, my jerk baits and my jigs into one. And the same thing with this. I took lipless crankbaits, square bills, and the deep divers and just threw them all in one box that I'm gonna throw in the tournament. I also highly recommend having a good tackle bag that is meant to store these boxes. So I just have a Bass Pro Shops tackle box backpack right here, and I can fit 4 of these little boxes and 1 of these big boxes in there all at the same time, being able to access everything while you're fishing and then unloading the boat and getting everything back to wherever you keep your tackle, your fishing stuff. Just having that kind of storage makes it super helpful. Another thing, I cannot stress enough how much this has changed my life, and I never thought that I would use them. Invest in rod socks. I got these on Amazon. It was a pack of 12 of them for $20. And so what this does, it goes over your fishing rod like this, covers the tip and everything. Oops. So it covers your whole rod. And what's important about this though is when you're storing rods together in a boat, tips tend to get caught up in this line, this gap between the line and the rod. And then you'll have rod tips tangled up in other rods, in other line. And by having this rod sock, these things just slide in and out of compartments. So nice. I love having them in my truck. I love when I put them in the rod lockers in the boat, how easy it just comes in and out. So how many rods should you bring? Well, I think if you have 1 rod, you can fish a tournament with 1 rod. I promise that's not gonna, kill you. Is it ideal? Probably not, but it's definitely possible. And if you're new to the tournament fishing world, and you don't have all of this gear and you don't have 15 rods to bring to a tournament, don't stress about that. If you have a rod and a couple baits that you're confident can catch a fish, you can fish a tournament. Have everything tied on. So I have my spoon on this rod and I have my drop shot on this, and it's all rigged up. These are ready to cast. These are ready to go. And that's how I keep all of my rods. All of my rods that I bring on the boat are ready to cast. The night before the tournament, just make sure you have tied on, a bait to every rod that you're bringing, right? Because when you get out on the lake and you're fishing, you're not going to have time to fiddle with your rods and keep retying stuff. And that's why a lot of guys do bring more rods. Guys set their rods up for certain baits and they'll keep that bait tied onto that rod. And so not only does it help with the aspect of making sure you have the right gear for your bait, but it's just a convenience thing as well, being able to put down one bait, just pick up your other rod and start casting. So yeah, just make sure you have everything packed up. Make sure you combine boxes if you can, pack as light as you can, keep it in a backpack, make sure you stock up your rods, and you'll be ready to go. All right, my 4th tip for you guys, listen to your boater. Again, I said it before, when you're a co-angler, you're the guest on the boat. It's not your boat, odds are they've paid probably thousands of dollars for the boat. There's a lot that goes into just owning a boat and getting it tournament ready at that. So listen to your boater when you're fishing, right? If they want you to fish off the backside of the boat, respect that and fish off the backside of the boat. They'll let you know where they want you to fish. They'll let you know what to cast at. And guys, listening to your boater is cool because they have the live scope. They have the electronics in front of them, and they're seeing things that you're probably not seeing. They have almost an extra sense on the water that you don't have. And so use that to your advantage, but also show that kind of same respect back, by making sure your stuff is clean in the boat. If you're moving spots, make sure rods up front, rods in the passenger compartment are all secured. Make sure nothing's gonna fly out. If you have cans sitting around, we drink a ton of Red Bull when we go out and fish, and so you don't want Red Bull cans flying into the water. I think as a co-angler, it's a huge responsibility to have that, just keep up general maintenance for the boat, right? Assist yourself when you can. Sometimes your boater will get in a struggle and might need you to do something, and you just have to be willing to listen and cooperate through that. And then you're both bringing fish in the boat. So the better you can get that partnership running and the more effectively you guys can work together on the boat, the better fishing you're gonna have. And guys, finally, number 5, we made it. My number 5 that I have for you guys is have fun. Fishing is about having fun. And I know taking it to a competitive level and a higher level is scary sometimes, as it is with anything in competition. And especially for me, I'm a really competitive person. And so sometimes I get really stressed out about fishing. I'm wondering, am I throwing the right things? Am I going to be doing the right things? And just overthinking. And it's not. Just keep it simple, right? Just know the baits you're throwing, right? Be confident in the baits you're throwing. Don't go out and be trying to try new things in tournament time, right? Stick to your guns, what you know. And you're going out and hanging out with someone else on a boat. I mean, what else could you want besides hanging out on the boat with one of your buddies? It doesn't get better than that. Don't stress yourself out too much. You don't have to have 20 rods or every color bait. You can go out there with one rod and a couple baits and be ready to go. Money doesn't win tournaments. Go out there, fish the way you want to, and you'll catch fish. Remember, it's about the fishing. You're going out and getting experience and getting better every time that you throw a line on the water. You're learning something new. You're finding new patterns. Number 1, research your water. Know what you're fishing. Number 2, have a plan, right? Come up with a plan with your boater. Get everything figured out. Know the plan of attack, so when tournament day comes, you're just ready to fish. That leads to number 3, having your gear ready. Just make sure you have everything ready and set to go. Have all of your baits tied on. Have your bags packed and ready to put in the boat the night before. Have your rods stocked up. Number 4, listen to your boater. Be a courteous co-angler. And then number 5, guys, have fun. It's a tournament. Go out there and fish your heart out. But it's such a fun experience, and I definitely recommend that if you guys get the opportunity to be a co-angler, to definitely take it. Go out there, get on a boat, go fish a tournament with one of your buddies, and I promise you, you're gonna fall in love with it. Alright guys, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one.